Hi, this is Jennifer from Positively Learning. Thanks for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about IEP data tracking. And I know I talk about IEPs quite a bit, but this video is a little bit different because I'm going to be showing you some classroom resources you can use with your students. So right now we're looking at this IEP Quick Kit, and this one's specifically for math, addition within 10. I'm going to back it up just a little bit though. If you go to my Positively ET store. In the left-hand side, you're going to see custom categories. So if I scroll down, you're going to see these IEP Quick Kits. I've opened that up. And a lot of these are going to probably look familiar if you've been following my channel. I have two different styles of kits. One is to support you as a special educator, gathering the resources, the documentation forms, all of those things that are going to save you time into these quick kits. So I have a lot of previous videos on how these are organized and what's included. But I also have some kits that are more of the classroom resources. There's data tracking pages for you and performance task resources for your students. They are all set up exactly the same way. And right now I have phonics, I have 3 sets of those, and I have 3 different math sets. I have a request for phonemic awareness, and if you have any requests, please send them along and I'd be happy to work on that. But I'm going to show you one of them right now, and they're all set up the exact same way. Now, you may be also watching this tutorial and thinking, I have a lot of these resources already that I'm using. Maybe it's matching the curriculum that you use in your resource room. And that is great too. You can start gathering the resources you already have together, and hopefully these tips will be helpful on how you can get some data points as well. So what I've done is I've downloaded this, and it does download as a zip file. And you're going to see 3 different PDFs. One is called Start Here. So we're going to click on that one first. The first page, whoops, let me get that a little bit larger and then decrease. The first page is a summary of everything that's included. And again, you'll see this in any of the different kits. This one just happens to be addition. I start off with some data tracking forms. There's paper copies for you, and I'll show you what those look like. There's also a Google form format as well if you want to go digital. And I do have an exemplar of what an addition goal could look like, sort of Mad Lib style, so you can individualize it for your students. And then I have a progress report statement that you are welcome to borrow my words. And because of course we're going to be tracking some progress. Now, you don't have a student with this specific goal, that is completely fine. If you are pulling intervention groups at any time or have your students working in math centers, this would still be really helpful. All right, the next 2 resources are the student resources. One is a printable set of task cards. There's 30 task cards. I like to do things in groups of 10 so that I can get that really fast data point. But this could be an independent center, this could be an activity for your small group. This could also be a performance task resource. And then I have digital task cards. These are Boom Learning cards. There's 30. So again, you could do all 30 as an independent center, display it for your small group, or you can put it into groups of 10 and just grab a quick data point. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to scroll down. Here is the exemplar for an objective and a progress statement, and there's the link for the Google form. And then here's the 2 different printable copies. I'm going to show you this one first. Okay, so here's a printable copy. I would print several of these and put them in your data folders. You could actually use them for any skill, but this is for, it just has the yes, no already pre-populated, so you could circle it, highlight it, whatever is fast for you. The copy right above it is very similar, except there's just a little more space if you wanted to be specific, say for what types of errors your students are making, whether it's like all the doubles facts or the doubles plus 1, you can see, gain some information there. And then I did put in flashcards for a performance task. I most likely would not print these out because I would just use the other principles, but it's always nice if you wanted to like have a clipboard and have everything together for data tracking. It's nice to have that extra set there. All right, so let me diminish this and show you what the others look like. So this is a set of the printable task cards. I would set them up in these plastic storage containers, these photo storage boxes. They're 4 by 6 inch. And there's a title card if you choose to use that, or you could put these into a pencil pouch or a plastic bag. And then here is visual directions for your students. Now, I did not indicate how they would be answering this, but they could be using a clothespin if that's something your students are working on some fine motor. They could dab it with a bingo dabber. They could put a manipulative on top to show their answer, circle it, or just point, whatever works for your students. But there's 30 different task cards, very student friendly. And then there's also a set of digital task cards. So let me open that up. This is, these are, oops, these are boom cards. Boom cards to me, in all my research in my own resource room, boom cards were the clear winner. I used Google, I used online platforms, and then I used Boom. The reason I chose Boom is my students just were much more independent with it. It wasn't as easy to click out. There was a few less clicks that my students were responsible for. So for example, some games may have where you're clicking the answer and then submitting it. Boom cards, the way I have these set up, your students are just focused on the math task. So let me show you what it would look like. Okay, so imagine this as the full screen, this colorful slide right there. Students are solving and just clicking the answer and getting immediate feedback from Boom, so that they would tell them yes or no. It's not like harsh, it's a little whoops if they need to try it again. And I think that is really important. My students handled it really well. There's no extra clicks, and it's not that easy to log off as well. So clearly I'm into Boom Learning. It is free for you to use. To redeem these cards, they would open up on the Boom Learning website, or you could use them on an iPad or anything. It's free, but if you do have the paid subscription, it also tracks their performance for you, which is an easy way to track some data as well. So I am into Boom cards. All right, let me minimize that. Okay, so there were three major components. The first one was all of the data tracking resources. There's Google Form, there's printables, and then there's the performance task flashcards as an option. Then there's the printable set. You could use these in small groups, independent center, or you can use these for the performance task. And then there's the digital, self-checking 30 digital boom cards that your students could use for extra practice, or you could display these. You can even print them as well. All right, so that's a type of resource that I would recommend. Maybe you already have some of these math resources that you could gather together, but having those prepared and ready provides time for your students to practice, but also an organized way for you to grab some valid data. All right, I hope that was helpful for you. Please let me know if there's any special requests, any of these resources you'd like me to open up on the next video and show you what's inside. All right, thanks so much. Be sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.